For decades, the idea of owning a home has been drilled into our minds as the ultimate sign of success. Parents said it. Teachers echoed it. Society rewarded it. Buy a house. Settle down. Stop throwing money away on rent. That was the formula. That was the finish line. But in 2025, that advice may be costing entrepreneurs more than they realize. What if homeownership is not the blessing it was made out to be? What if, for those building something greater, something bigger than just stability, a mortgage is not an achievement, but a liability? See, owning a house gives the illusion of security, but it can also be a chain. It ties you to one location. It forces you into long-term payments that do not adjust when your business needs flexibility. And worst of all, it can drain the one resource no entrepreneur can afford to waste: time. People say rent is throwing money away. But when you are growing a business, buying the wrong property at the wrong time can be like setting fire to opportunity itself. The real question is not, should I buy or rent? It is, what stage am I in and what will move me forward faster? Because in 2025, agility wins, leverage wins, and sometimes renting is not weakness. It is strategic freedom. The hidden costs no one tells you about homeownership as costs, obvious and hidden. Sure, the mortgage payment is one thing, but then comes the property taxes, the maintenance, the HOA fees, the insurance, the repairs, the landscaping, the unexpected emergencies that hit your bank account at the exact moment your business is trying to scale. When you rent, those problems are not yours. A leaky roof, that is the landlord's problem. A pipe bursts. You make a phone call. But when you own, every issue is your issue. Every hour spent coordinating a repair is an hour not spent growing your brand. Every unexpected bill is a blow to your business's runway. And let us not forget the down payment. That 10%, 20% or more. That is not just cash, it is capital. Capital that could have gone into marketing, into hiring, into developing new offers, launching products, or getting months ahead on operations. Entrepreneurs thrive on movement. They grow through reinvestment. So when you pour your liquidity into a house, you are locking up resources that could have multiplied inside your business. It is not that home ownership is bad. It is that timing matters. If the house becomes a distraction, or worse, a money pit, then the thing that was supposed to represent success becomes the very weight holding your growth hostage. Mobility is power. Ask any successful entrepreneur what helped them grow, and most will say access, connections, and environment. Now ask them how often those things come from staying in one location for 30 years. Rarely. The freedom to move, to chase opportunity, meet people, attend events, or even just work in a location that inspires better thinking is massively underrated. And when you own a house, especially one that ties you to a mortgage and a fixed routine, that mobility often disappears. Renting gives you the ability to adapt, to pivot, to scale up or down depending on your season of business. You can move to a city that offers more talent, better funding, or stronger networks. You can walk away from toxic neighbors, bad neighborhoods, or bad investments without losing a chunk of your net worth. Owning says settle. Renting says stay sharp. And in 2025, when markets move fast, when trends evolve by the week, and when competition can come from anywhere, staying agile may be your biggest competitive edge. Too many entrepreneurs buy into the narrative that renting means instability. But for a builder, for someone in growth mode, mobility is not a lack of roots, it is an advantage of vision. Leverage, the game changer. This is where the game truly shifts. See, the average person looks at home ownership as their biggest asset. But entrepreneurs, they know the truth. Your biggest asset is your cash flow, your equity in your own business, and your ability to leverage. A house may go up in value, slowly, over the years, but a well-deployed investment in your business could return tenfold in months. When you rent, you are keeping your money liquid. When you own, you are parking it in an illiquid asset that does not produce income unless you sell it or turn it into a rental, which brings in an entirely new set of responsibilities. Some entrepreneurs understand leverage better than others. They use the bank's money to invest, but they do it strategically. They understand that until the business is throwing off consistent, predictable profits, and they have a team in place to maintain the machine, they should not be locking themselves into any fixed obligation that could suffocate growth. Renting is not a life sentence. It is a season of discipline, a choice to stay lean, stay focused, and use every dollar as fuel for expansion. Buying a house too early is like putting weights on your ankles in the middle of a sprint. And if your business is still sprinting, still finding its legs, still establishing itself in a competitive market, then the last thing you need is a 30-year anchor. The right time to buy now, let us be clear. Buying is not the enemy. In fact, when the time is right, it can be an incredibly smart move. But it should be a reward of success, not a detour on the way to it. The right time to buy is when your business is stable and cash flow positive. You have 6 months or more of operating expenses saved. You are not sacrificing momentum by locking in capital. You have a strong tax strategy that benefits from property ownership. Your personal life aligns with staying in one location for at least 5 years. When those pieces are in place, then buying may no longer be a liability. It may become a leverage play. Then you can explore real estate as an investment vehicle, not just a lifestyle symbol. Then you can buy from a position of strength, not pressure. Then you can actually enjoy the home, instead of resenting what it cost your business to acquire it. But too many people buy too early because they are chasing validation, because they are listening to family or friends who do not understand the path of entrepreneurship, because they think owning means they have made it. Truth is, they have just locked themselves into a game that was never designed for players like them. Time is your most valuable currency when you are in build mode, creating, scaling, and navigating chaos. Your most valuable currency is not money, it is time. And too many entrepreneurs underestimate just how much time homeownership quietly demands. It starts with the search, endless listings, agent meetings, inspections, and paperwork. Then comes the negotiation, the loan process, the stress of closing. That is months of attention siphoned from your business. But it does not end there. Homeownership requires ongoing management, weekly, monthly, annually, maintenance schedules, contractor calls, upgrades you did not plan for but now feel obligated to complete. These are not just interruptions. These are context switches. They pull your mind away from deep work. They rob you of focus. And if you are still building your infrastructure, still refining your offer, still proving product market fit, those distractions cost more than you think. Renting is not about sidestepping responsibility. It is about buying back your time, time to think, time to create, time to dominate the thing that will one day give you the freedom to own on your own terms, without compromise. Emotional purchases kill strategic progress. Entrepreneurs are not immune to emotion. In fact, they often feel deeper than others, because they are building from vision, not comfort. But emotion is dangerous when it drives financial decisions, and nowhere is this more true than real estate. Many entrepreneurs rush into buying because they are tired of instability, tired of judgment, tired of not looking successful to outsiders. So they buy to feel like they made it, to silence the noise, to look the part. But if the move is not rooted in strategic readiness, it becomes a trap disguised as progress. The mortgage payment becomes pressure. The decor becomes distraction. The stress becomes invisible, but persistent. And worst of all, the house starts to feel like something you are serving, not something that serves you. Renting removes the emotional impulse. It turns shelter into a tool. It keeps your identity anchored in what you are building, not what you are temporarily living in. And for any entrepreneur playing the long game, that clarity can be the difference between momentum and stagnation. Buying versus renting is not a moral decision. It is not about pride. It is about strategy. In 2025, where interest rates fluctuate, economic uncertainty remains high, and business models evolve at light speed, the smartest entrepreneurs are asking one simple question: what gives me the most leverage right now? If the answer is renting, that is not a failure. That is wisdom. That is positioning. That is choosing growth over ego. And 5 years from now, when your business is thriving, your assets are producing, and your options are wide open, then you can buy from a place of power, not to prove something, but because you earned it. Remember, the house is not the dream. Freedom is the dream. And sometimes, renting is the price you pay for building something that truly lasts.